Hi and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally Graham, and today I'm joined by Johann Jacob, who's Executive Chairman of King Island Scheelite. Now, there's a very interesting story in this company just with the commodity that they're chasing, the tungsten, but we'll get to that soon, Johann. First, we'll touch on just your recent announcement of a $31 million raising. Now, well done, congratulations, well done you, 31 million, but not all in one lump sum, it came in different stages. Could you please just fill us in on the raising and what it means to the company and how it affected maybe your shareholder registry and etc.
Thank you very much, Wally. Yes, on Friday we concluded the final piece of the puzzle of the funding, which takes us up to $88 million, which is the required amount to get the redevelopment done. The raising was done, largely the first tranche was driven by our capacity to raise funds without going back to shareholders. So institutional shareholders and sophisticated investors came in on Friday for a placement of 14.3 million. Together with that, we have existing shareholders, the 4 shareholders that contributed to the debt raising earlier in September, and they will contribute a further 11 million, but that is subject to shareholders' approval at the annual general meeting to be held in the first week of November. The third aspect of that is a shareholder purchase plan, which we will be launching tomorrow, and we aim to raise a minimum of $5.5 million there from existing shareholders who can apply and subscribe for shares also at the same rate at 14 cents. That SPP or shareholder purchase plan is underwritten by one of our directors and the Elphinston Group in Tasmania.
You've got to have a lot of money, and as you were alluding to before, for the redevelopment of the project. And so let's have a look at the project now. So this is the Dolphin Tungsten mine now on King Island itself. So let's have a look at tungsten to start with before we get to the actual project. Tungsten as a critical mineral, would you say?
It is. It's been classified as a critical mineral by most Western countries. Certainly Australia in 2019, when they put out their critical minerals strategy, recognized that as tungsten is one of the 40 minerals that is critical. My understanding, it's in the top 10 of those 40 minerals. It is critical on 2 aspects. One is the economic importance of tungsten to everyday life, and the second one is the supply chain risk. Now, of the total tungsten produced and consumed worldwide, about 82% of that is produced and consumed in China. And with the supply risks associated with such a concentration of production in any country, it does make it a critical mineral for the other countries in the world. When the mine closed in 1990, the price, reference price of tungsten that we work off was $50 for 10 kilograms. Today, that price is 318. So a significantly different economic environment in terms of the tungsten industry that we're now embarking on redeveloping the mine. The Dolphin mine also is the first tungsten mine in Australia since the totally tungsten mine, since the closure of that mine back in 1990.
It's interesting with all the critical metals at the moment and that include tungsten, that where the traditional metals like the iron ores and the golds and all that have always been high on people's priorities. But now with modern life and with all the different tools that we use, say the computers and the phones and all that, things like tungsten are really starting to come into their own. So to to actually have a project up and running, eventually, it's going to be a bit of a boon for the company.
Absolutely. The major uses of tungsten still remain as a cutting tool for motor vehicles, aircraft, trains, mining equipment. But then you have drill bits. Everybody that wants to drill a hole in a concrete wall runs off to Bunnings and buys a tungsten carbide drill bit. But in terms of the larger scale things, most cities in the world today have at least one tunnel being constructed for ease of transport. And all those tunneling machines need tungsten carbide drill bits. Then, of course, the same applies to the oil and gas industry for exploration and or production of oil wells. And then not to forget about the defense industry, that is a very, very critical component of the defense industry.
All right, so the Dolphin mine itself, you were just saying then closed in the 1990s, and so you need the money to redevelop it, to get open it up and get it started operating again. How are we placed? How are things going?
So we'll be starting to place orders within the next 10 days. The redevelopment of that mine is we've identified, is 8 years of open cut and followed by 6 years of underground. When the mine closed in 1990, it had operated since 1917. And by the time it closed, it had exhausted about 50% of its resource. So we have at least 50% of the mine mineable resource left. And as I said, that will take us about 14 years to extract. The construction of the processing plant that will be built on the island itself is our largest capital item. That's about 42 million. And that will be built by Gecko Systems out of Ballarat. And that will take the mineral from 0.7% in the ground to about 65%, what's called WO3 in layman's terms, it's tungsten. So we're upgrading the ore from 0.76% to 65%. And that'll be the product that we'll sell to customers. Now, to put that in context, that will convert to about 3,200 tons of material that we have to ship every year. So that goes out in 20-foot containers out of the port of Grassy at the rate of about 5 containers a week. So there's ample shipping capacity to cater for that.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a busy project, busy getting it together, and then busy once it's up and running.
Absolutely, thanks very much. And I think importantly, it's the job opportunities that we'll create on the island. During construction, we'll be employing about 90 people. In steady state operations, that will be between 65 and 70. And of that, we're hoping that at least 75% of those will be permanently resident on the island rather than fly in, fly out. So the economic benefits to the island itself, Tasmania, broadly speaking, through its revenue from royalties, and then of course the Australian federal through taxes that we'll be paying will be very significant to the country.
All right, Johann, well, thanks for dropping in today. I mean, that's a very, very interesting story you've got, and we'd really appreciate if you'd keep us up to speed on how things go so we can keep on delivering the news to our readers and viewers here at the Roadhouse. But until next time we do get to speak, Johann Jacobs, thank you very much for being part of the Resources Roadhouse.
Thank you very much, Wally. Thanks for having me on your show.